Hey guys, back at it again doing another weekend project. Today I'm going to show you something simple, easy and fixable. I'm going to show you how easy it is to replace your timing chain on this Mazda 3. I believe this is a 2009. Before you even get started on this job, a couple things you're going to need. You will need a timing chain alignment tool. This is what it looks like. Specifically for this type of engine. Got this from Amazon a couple years ago. Only had to use it 3 times, but it paid for itself. It's about 17 bucks. And I'm also going to go ahead and try this new kit. This is also from Amazon, and it's a kit that comes with basically all the necessary hardware. I got the sprockets. You got the timing chain itself, the guides, and I believe it comes with the tensioner as well. There we go. Alright, now I do encourage you guys, I've done these a couple times, make sure that you go to the Mazda dealership and actually buy the crank bolt and the 2 sprocket bolts too. Those you will need to replace. I repeat, you will need to replace. Do not try to reuse them. Trust me, I've had a couple people come back to me and tell me, hey, I did this job, what happened? And then when I ask them, did you replace them with new bolts, crank bolts, and the sprocket bolts, they'll, that's the issue itself. Also, I'm going to work very hard, guys, to show you step by step how to do this job at your home. Please like, subscribe if this video helped you out. I'm going to try to use the basic tools that anybody has in their garage, so that way you guys can feel comfortable on seeing how easy and simple and fixable this job will be. Again, make sure you invest on this. And a good there are different type of aftermarket timing chain kits. Make sure you do your research. I'm using this one. I paid almost 80 bucks on Amazon, and make sure you have a good set of tool sets when you do this job. Okay, so the reason why we're doing this job, let me go ahead and I'm thinking this is an issue, but we'll go as we take step by step. Listen to this, guys. It's like some type of rattling. Especially on this area, I can hear some rattling. That's a telltale indicator that the timing chain is either loose or it's seen its better days. Now this vehicle has about 100 and I believe 160,000 miles, give or take. A lot of dealerships will say the timing chain will last a lifetime. There is factual, but they're also depending on the owner, how he does his oil change or proper maintenance. But again, I could definitely tell here a little bit rattling. So we're gonna go ahead and take this step by step. Again, guys, enjoy the video, and I might do this informational repair on this vehicle, maybe on 2 videos. So stay tuned. We'll get this process started. Alright, guys, let's do this. Okay, guys, so before you even get started on this job, make sure you put your vehicle in proper jack stands, so that way when we start this process, I want to make sure that the car is safely supported. I'm using a scissor lift, but if you're at home, just make sure you put a nice proper jack stand supporting the vehicle. The reason why is because I'm going to show you how to do this job the best, easiest way possible, and we will need the vehicle supported because we're going to go ahead and support the engine, since we will have to remove the motor mount on the engine. So again, make sure your vehicle is properly supported, and then we'll go to the next step, guys. Alright guys, so first things first, since we're going to be taking a lot of components out, let's go ahead and disconnect the negative battery terminal. This is a 10mm nut that we're going to go ahead and loosen up. And what I like to do, I just like to kind of get it out of the way. And you know what, you don't have to do this step, but I'm just going to go ahead and just play it cautious wise and just take this completely out. Alright, first step, let's go and remove the cover. Just push up like so. As you guys can see, this engine has seen its better days. So we will have to take the valve cover out, so that way we can kind of get a proper visual on that timing chain. Is that if that timing chain is any shape loose or you could press on it, then that's gonna have to be replaced. So again, let's go ahead and get this process started. First thing we're gonna do, let's go ahead and just get the basic connections out of the way. Go ahead and we're gonna remove the coil connections. Pretty easy, just push on the tab, push down and away. Just be careful not to overly pry that out. Alright, and I believe these are 7mm. These top, you could just loosen them up. These are the plastic clips that hold the valve cover right there. So don't lose these guys, because you're definitely gonna need these. These are the ones that just go here. Alright, next step, let's go and continue taking off these clips out of the way. There's gonna be let me see, I think there's this plastic clip that we could pry out, and also there's gonna be a couple more that we're gonna have to take out as well, like this little guy here. Just push down and out like so. And there's this also clips, because when we do remove the valve cover, we're going to need some clearance. So just go around and remove, we're going to remove this bad boy here. And what else? These connector holes here as well. Get these out of the way. Let me get a little pry tool. So we're going to remove this one and this one. Alright guys, so you have two options to remove these plastic retaining clips. You either have one, break them off, because these could be a one-time use depending on how old your vehicle is. So again, you could just pry these off and break them off, and if you're able to buy new ones, that's great. Or if you want to salvage them and take them off as you're going, you're gonna need 2 flathead screwdrivers, the mini ones, because there's little clips, one here and one there, and you're gonna put one screwdriver there and another one here, and you're gonna go ahead and put these there, and you're gonna want to push them apart. And then this clip, let me get a good angle so I can show you how that's done in action. Give me 1 second. Alright guys, let me show you this in action in a little bit. Give you guys a, and you're gonna have to do this for all the clips that you have here. Here, let me show you how that looks like. And there you go. And again, these are a one-time use, but if you don't want to buy them, you could save them by doing what I did to remove them. And then when you put them back, you just slide it back in. But these are the two clips that you have to remove. I'm sorry, you have to push up away and then pry this out. So let me go and do that for the rest of the ones that I have, and then we'll continue. Okay, so guys, so we're going to continue removing some connectors. You don't have to do this step, but I like to do it. I'm going to take the fuel injector connectors out. All it is, you just push on that here, push it, and then pry it up. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 that you're going to remove. And then we're also going to remove this harness. Is basically kind of shoved in this little metal clip. We're going to go ahead and just push it out. And this connector here basically connected to the intake. The way you take this off, there's two green clips on both sides. I'm using kind of like a hose remover plier. All I'm doing, I'm just making sure that that green clip gets pressed in like this, and then once it gets pressed in, I'm gonna go ahead and push this outwards. Alright, so I'm gonna remove that, show you how that's done real quick. And that's how you do it. Just push it out like so, and we're gonna go ahead and get out of the way. Just be careful not to damage that. And once we have that, again, we want to make sure that we take anything that's going to keep us from removing the valve cover out. So you're going to have to take your time and get these out as well. So we're going to go ahead and try to see if we can take this harness out and this one, and that's going to give us enough room for us to remove the valve cover. So let me go and do that real quick, and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, so to remove this connector clip, all you're going to do is just press this outwards as hard as you can, like so. It's just held on by this clip here, right there, and that's gonna kind of be out of the way. And then this little guy, all you're gonna do, this was what's holding that air tube. All you're gonna do is just turn it counterclockwise. It's gonna come out. Don't lose it because you're gonna need it. And then there's gonna be that clip, just like these, the ones we took off, the ones you have to put the 2 screwdrivers and pry them outwards and then push it up. So let's go ahead and remove that one. And then the last one, we're gonna go and remove this bad boy. All it is, just put this push this clip down and pry it out. It should come out like so. Sometimes it's a little bit stubborn, not to worry. There we go. And again, that's gonna give us some room to remove all these bolts. And I believe the next step, once we get these cleared out of the way, and once you remove this last one here, we're going to go and remove the coils, and that's going to allow us to start removing the valve cover bolt. So let's go ahead and finish this, and then we'll come back. Okay guys, so once you get this last connector here, everything should kind of move out of the way. So just go ahead and just put everything out of harm's way. Make sure no cables all around. It's preventing you from removing the valve cover like this. Alright, so the next step, we're going to go ahead and start removing the coils. So before you do this step, I highly recommend to just mark them, just so that way when you're going to start everything back, everything's the same way you took it off. So just go ahead and either with the marker, whatever the case might be. Just go ahead and put a little mark there, so that way you know where everything goes. And we're going to go ahead and remove, these are 8mm bolts. So let's go ahead and remove that for each one. Alright. Just pull them out. And this is a good time also to inspect. Make sure every spark plugs are good. Once you install everything else, just get them out of the way. Alright, so now that we have that, the next step, we're going to go ahead and remove the dipstick out of the way, and we're going to go ahead and start removing. I like to start from the back and then make my way forward. So all these are going to be 8mm bolts. So there's going to be a couple of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's go ahead and remove those bolts. But what I do encourage you, before you remove them, just wipe a little bit any type of gunk out of the way, so that way it doesn't get into that the engine once we pry this valve cover out. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove these bad boys. And what I like to do, I like to kind of just keep those bolts and nuts. I try not to take them out in case I have to, so that way when I pull the valve cover out, every bolt is where it should be. I don't have to second guess where everything goes. Just be very patient. And I will put the torque on the screen, so when you do torque them back, that will give you some guide. Let me see. There's one more. This is actually a bolt, but it's actually a bracket that's holding on these tubes there. So let me go ahead and, I believe that's a 10mm. Let me double check. Yes, it's a 10mm. This is going to be the one all the way in the back. There you go. Break that loose. That should come out. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be another bolt once we pry that out. Let's see if we can remove that out of the way. Let me make sure it's. Forgot it. This is a 2.0 engine. I've done a lot of 2.5s, but yeah, there's another bolt, the last one here. We got to remove that bracket. So let me go ahead and show you how that's done. Okay. Okay guys, so in order for us to actually get this last valve cover 8mm bolt, it's actually underneath this bracket. So the way we're going to do, once we remove that 10mm bolt, there's another, let me see if I can give you guys, here, let me take this off here. just one more 10mm bolt there. I'm going to use this setup. This is a 6-inch extension with a 10mm deep socket, and once we remove this last 10mm bolt, that's going to allow us to remove that bracket. Just be careful not to lose that bolt that we just took off, like so. And then that's going to allow us to move this up out of the way and expose that 8mm last valve cover bolt. So let me go ahead and switch extensions. Let me show you right here. Alright, so again, that's going to be the last one, and everything, let me get this back out of the way. I had to move it to get that last 10mm bolt. So that should be the last bolt. Okay guys, so once we remove this one, I'm sorry, I forgot we have two more bolts. This one and this one. Okay. And then once these have been removed, the valve cover should definitely just come up. And one way I like to do this, I like to take out this engine oil cap there, and then I'm just going to go ahead and get a shop rag and put the shop rag in here, and with my fingers I'm going to try to lift this valve cover up and see if it comes out. Sometimes that gasket's pretty in there, so just take your time. Just be careful when you do this. Be careful not to drop all those bolts that you have there. Alright, pretty stuck in there. Don't worry about it. This is the next step. Okay guys, so again, if you try to lift this with your hands and it's still stuck, it's okay, don't worry about it. The next step, you want to be very careful if you do this, okay? It's because what I'm about to do, it's a tip. I've done it before, but I'm extra careful. So I'm going to use a pry bar, something like this. I believe this is a 18-inch pry bar, and this tip, I'm going to put it right here. Let me get you guys a close up. Right here, okay? And then I'm going to use the belt tensioner as a leverage when I push up. Again, I'm going to be very careful, okay? And check this out. Now you see how it moved up. Be very careful. So once you have this in place like this, we've managed to kind of partially separate it. See that? So everything moves. So now that we have that in place, I'm actually going to get a plastic pry tool, and I'm going to go ahead and just start to pry everything out with plastic like this. Okay, and I'm using this because I don't want to risk of damaging the mating surface. So again, I'm just using this tool. I'm going around and prying everything, and now everything's loosening up. Taking your time to pry this up, and that should be enough for you to come back and try to lift this bad boy. See how easily now it moves. So now I just want to make sure all these are loosening up. They are. And then we're going to come back here. Make sure these are all nice and loose. And then we're going to continue Now I'm going to put my finger in here and get these out of the way. Make sure these are also, and slowly just going to continue prying these off like this. And again, I believe this is the first time this vehicle has had any work done, specifically the valve cover. So now that I have this loose, I'm going to go ahead and gingerly get this out of the way. So I have this connector stuck on this, and now I'm just going to pry this bad boy like so. Just put it here. Again, there's going to be 12 8mm bolts in the back. Alright, so now that we've exposed the timing belt, this is the timing chain. So let's go ahead and see how it's a little bit, it shouldn't have any movement at all. Okay. Alright guys, so now that we have that, just make sure you clean everything around here, so that way. Alright, so the next step, we're going to go ahead and remove the 4 spark plugs. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do this step because once we start removing everything from the timing belt area, we're going to have to turn the crankshaft pulley, so I want to make sure that we do that easy without having to have these spark plugs in the way. So these are this is a 5/8 socket that I'm using to remove this spark plug socket, to remove these spark plugs. So make sure you do this extra step. Be very, very careful. Alright, this came out easily without a problem. Alright, I'm just going to put them here out of the way. So go ahead and do this for the next 4, and then we'll come back. Alright guys, so next step, we're going to go ahead and remove the coolant reservoir, so that way we have enough room for us to work right here, since we will have to remove that engine mount. Pretty easy. It's basically 2 clips, one there and one there, that's holding the coolant reservoir. So just go ahead and push up, and that should go ahead and free up this reservoir. So let me go and do that, and then we'll go to the next step. Here's a tip guys, if you're having difficulties removing the clips, just use a nice long pick like this, and you want to go ahead and just put it here, and then just pry it like this, and that way it could get over that little metal clip hump. You can do this on this side too, and then once you have that over that metal clip, you're going to go to remove it, just like I did here. I was able to put this pick here, and because it's flexible, I was able to get it over that little metal clip and then push up. One tip guys, something like this. Let me show you guys how I was able to do it. And it just came off like so. And then for this one, the same way. Like so. Alright, so all I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go ahead and get this out of the way. You don't really have to remove the hose, just put it out of harm's way. That's just enough clearance to give us room to work on this, okay? Alright, so to give us a little bit more wiggle room, you see these cables, we're gonna just go ahead and remove these out of the way, just so that way we don't damage them in any way, shape, or form. Just get a little flathead screwdriver, and it's just a smaller clip that's holding these two together on both sides. going to remove that clip, and then we're going to go ahead and just go ahead and push this, unclip this out of the way like this. That way it's not in our way when we take these components off. Okay, and I'm also going to go ahead and take this ground off. This is a 10mm, just so that way I don't mess with it or it doesn't get on the way there. Alright guys, so this is a 10mm nut that I'm gonna remove. This is just holding the ground. Just don't forget to put it back, and also remember the location. It goes underneath the mortar mounts. Basically also a bolt there, but we're not gonna mess with that. We just want to get that out of the way. That way we don't pull on it or any type of interference there. And just put this wire away, and that should allow us to kind of have some room to work with here. It doesn't interfere with our workspace. Alright, so the next step, we're going to go ahead and remove some components. For that, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go underneath the vehicle on the side. I'm going to remove the tire, so that way you can kind of see what I'm doing, and at the same time it's going to help us get this job much done properly. Okay. Alright, so the next step, since your vehicle's already on jack stands, we're going to go and remove the passenger front tire, because we're going to have to expose a couple components, so we can start removing a couple components by the timing belt, which is we're going to remove the serpentine belt and also a tensioner. So let me go and show you how to do that real quick. Alright guys, so again, don't forget to remove this next step, and that's going to give us access to the back panels that we're going to have to remove for this job. So let me go ahead and get this out of the way, and then we'll continue, guys. Alright, so once we remove that tire, guys, we're going to expose we're gonna have to remove a couple more components. This is a 10mm bolt. There's one, and there's another one right there. And then we're gonna need a Phillips screwdriver to remove this last one, like so. And once you remove that one, alright, so I guess it's stripped. Not to worry, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get another tool. But the whole point is that once we remove this one, this should kind of come out, and then we're gonna unclip it from here at the bottom, and that's gonna allow us to expose the crankshaft itself. Alright, so now that you remove this last stubborn plastic retainer, we're just going to go ahead, and here at the bottom there's one more 10mm bolt. Pretty easy. Let's get that bad boy out of the way. And that's where the last one should be, and then this is going to allow us to kind of unclip it from here. Actually, there's another 10mm nut here at the top. Let's see if I can get that. Alright. And that was enough to remove this panel here. Put it out of the way, and then that's going to go ahead and give us some room so we can work here at the bottom and start rotating the the crankshaft and set it at top dead center. All right, so let me go ahead and get this, see if I give you guys some lighting, and then we'll continue for the next step. Okay, so you don't have to do this step, but I'm gonna do it just so that way I can show you guys and give you guys some more visually video on this. I'm actually gonna go ahead and remove this whole front wheel cover, and it's basically held on by many Phillips screwdriver clips, retaining clips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, like about 14 of those clips. And the reason why I'm going to remove this, so that way I can, again, I want to make sure that you guys have a good view of what I'm doing, and obviously you know, it's going to also help us get some bolts that might be in between here, and I don't want to fight it. So let me go to remove this, and then I'll be right back. Alright guys, so once you remove and you take all the clips away from the actual wheel shield, just get out of the way there, you see how much room now we have to work with. If you look at it here, we have easy access to get these bolts. So take the extra 5 minutes to remove this whole wheel cover shield, and that's going to allow us to really get in here and work as best as we can. Alright, so the next step, let's go in and remove the Serpentine, I'm sorry, the AC compressor to the shaft belt. Let's go and do that real quick, and I'll show you how. Okay guys, so this is a stretch belt, AC stretch belt. According to the service manual, this is a one-time use, so all you have to do is just cut this bad boy off like so, and they'll come off. But in case if you're in a bind, and let's just say you just barely install a new Serpentine belt, and you just barely installed a new AC belt, and you don't want to waste another 20 bucks to install it back, and just, you know, instead of you just ripping it off and it's still good, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a tip how to remove it. Basically, we have to there's this AC shield belt. They are about, there's 4 12mm bolts that we're just gonna go ahead and loosen them up. We're not gonna take them, we're just gonna loosen them up. Let's go and do that real quick, and that should give us enough clearance to be able to, again, I'm not removing them, just taking them off. Okay, and that should give us enough slack to be able to lower that shield. Actually, there's only 3. Let me take this last one here. Bear with me. And see how that gave us enough clearance. So let's see how it's moving now. So now that we're able to go to the next step. So next step, again, if you're short on cash and you don't want to spend another one, but if this has been here for a long time, go ahead and just snip it off and you should be good. But in case you want to save it, all you do, you're gonna get a tool like this. This is actually a tool for to remove radiator hoses. This is made by Astro, and we're gonna go ahead and put this tool in here like so, and we're gonna hold it like this, okay? And then at the same time, I'm gonna use this setup. This is a 18-inch 1/2 ratchet, and I'm using a extension, and I'm using a 21mm bolt to hold that bad boy. And the way you do this, you're gonna go ahead and put this in here like so, and we're gonna go ahead and turn the ratchet, and at the same time you're gonna go ahead and hold this in place like so, and see, you're not in the way of anything. And then once you turn this clockwise, remember, only turn it clockwise, don't turn it counterclockwise. You're gonna go ahead and turn it as you go, and then the belt should come off. Let me see if I can show you this in action. Okay guys, bear with me here. Alright guys, let me see if I can show you guys this in action. Here we go guys. And there you go guys. This was removed with minimal damage. And again, this is only if you're trying to reuse the AC belt. Okay, and like I said, it's still in good condition. I noticed that the alternator was just replaced, so it's kind of like a, why would you want to go ahead and throw away a good perfect AC belt? All right, hopefully that little tip helped you out. Again, if not, you could just, if it's pretty brittle or old, you could just cut it and you know,